All right, what's good, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. This video is going to be about support and resistance, and basically me drawing my zones and what I'm looking for day in and day out, and just ultimately how you should approach the market, because trading is not about all these indicators. It's about price action and basically what's happened in the past. It's more than likely going to happen in the future, right? History repeats itself. So as always, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Give this video a thumbs up, comment below what you guys think, and below this video we have the link to our free Discord trading group, the link to the broker that I use that you actually get a 100% matching deposit bonus. So make sure you guys check that out. Let's dive into this video for you guys. So the very first thing, guys, is historical levels. This is basically action where the price is bounced off multiple times, right? And I'll show you guys here eventually. We'll eventually get over to my chart here on TradingView, and basically we'll use, for instance, like NAS 100 or even gold, and we'll look at like areas that she's basically bounced off of in the past. Now everything's not going to be 100%, right? You're always going to have that little bit of range. So with like engineering, right, because my background was like engineering and drawings and drafting and designing, you always had these things called tolerances, right? Tolerance is like plus or minus, right? So we'll use $3 for example, right? Well, it can't always be $3 exactly. So you have a plus and minus of 0.25. Plus and minus of 0.25 is 3.25 and 2.75. So you have that tolerance, that range, right? Because it's impossible to get something 100%, right? It's impossible. So with like your chart, you should have like a tolerance, right? So some sort of like key area, right? So like people will see, like if I'm trading, right, I have basically, I don't have exactly like the exact pinpoint where I'm looking to buy or sell for the most part. I have what we call basically like a tolerance, right? So like I'll have like a range, like that will be like a support, right? So like, okay, I'm looking to buy within this support group. It's not going to be exactly at that particular price because it might go back on me a little bit, and at some point I need to basically decide if I'm going to stop out of a trade. So nonetheless, I'm looking for areas that it's basically hit multiple times. Now, obviously, when we see that, right, we tend to see some sort of like bounce to the upside, and when we get that, that's obviously where we're looking to basically shave off and pay ourselves along the way. Now, again, we do have psychological levels. Obviously, this is basically exact price. Exact price, like, okay, you're looking for it to buy it at 1.2000, like a 4x pair, because it's basically hit that area multiple times. And that's something you could trade off of. But again, I like to look at areas that have hit and support, shown support and resistance multiple times in those zones. And obviously, something like that you could look to basically buy up into. So here's a perfect example of a chart from a psychological level, right? This is a perfect example on how 1.2000 has hit multiple times, right? It's bounced off of that area, it's bounced off of here. So, but nonetheless, like I said, that's an exact price, right? Something like this, I would be like, okay, that I'm drawing my zone, right? This is my buy zone right here. So I'm looking to buy it, and I'm looking to buy it within the zone, and I'll basically give myself some sort of like wiggle room, like stop loss, right? Depending on how much I'm risking, how big of a position size I'm taking. So I'm looking to buy it in that zone, but then I'm also having a very tight stop loss, because if it could break that zone, then it's basically no longer holding support. So a couple key facts here, guys, from an order entry standpoint. When I'm doing orders, there's multiple different orders you can do out there, right? There's buy stop, sell stop, buy limit, and then sell limit. The difference is, right, a buy stop is an order placed above the price and it keeps going, right? So you already got your order out there, you're basically waiting for the trade to come, fill your order, and basically keep going. A buy limit is the order is already placed out there, and basically you're waiting for the price to basically come down, hit your order, and then reverse. That's risky. That's very dangerous. So buy limit and sell limit, basically you're trying to, what they call that, right, the perfect term for that is basically you're trying to catch a falling knife, right? So imagine this pen, right? Imagine this pen I got right here. It's like dropping, and I'm trying to like catch it. And when I'm trying to catch it, I'm trying to get it to like reverse right away. I don't like to trade that way. That could be very risky, very dangerous, right? Because you're trying to like predict the exact price move, right? So with like a buy stop, right, it's kind of one of those things where it's like it's already like the move's already happening. So I'm just, it's like perfect example with like a buy stop or sell stop, guys. It's like best way I could break this down for you guys, right? Imagine this is you, right? And you're in Hawaii, okay, and you're on a surfboard, right? So a buy stop and sell stop basically is like the wave's already coming, right? The wave's already coming. So the wave's coming. So you're already standing up on your surfboard, while that wave's basically just riding that wave. So a sell limit and buy limit is basically you're trying to just wait for there's no wave. You're already just standing on your surfboard waiting for the wave, right? And we don't know if it's going to happen or not. So it's very, very dangerous, very risky. You can blow your account very, very fast that way. So buy stop, sell stop, you're basically, all I'm doing is riding the wave. It's got the confirmation, it's proof, it's going in that direction. I just jump on and ride it. So, with Trading Man, we have channels. Obviously, channels is basically same thing, but you have basically an upward zone, right? You have an upper zone, and then on both, right? Whether you're buying or selling, you have the channel zones. So, I don't really trade zones, right? Because like I said, sometimes I've got smoked where I'm either buying or selling. I'd rather trade support and resistance on the chart versus trying to trade a channel. So same thing with the downwards channel, basically the same exact thing, right? It's working its way down. A lot of guys trade channels. I don't trade channels. So like going back to my chart here on TradingView, right? There's, like I said, you could trade a channel. This would be example, right? So like something like this, right? You could look at this. Here would be considered a channel on the 15-minute chart. Something like this I wouldn't trade, right? I wouldn't trade a channel, right? Because you're basically trying to buy it as it's continuing to go up, right? Versus me, I would be looking at perfect example. I would be looking at something like, honestly, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like this. I would be looking for like a reversal right here. So like that would be like a perfect example of like my zone. Okay, and someone would say, well, okay, well, how do you figure that? Okay, very, very simple, right? It's very, very simple, right? We have multiple candles to the upside. Eventually, it's going to get exhausted, right? This at one point was considered a zone. It broke through that. Now this is the next zone because it's hit multiple times, right? Okay, so this kind of gives me a good, clear picture, right? It's basically failed, try to test again, failed, and then sold off, and then popped, and then sold off hard. So realistically, hindsight 2020, like that would be something that I'm looking for. That'd be something that I'm actually looking for again. So, going to NAS 100, again, it's areas that it's hit multiple times. Now today's going to be kind of hard to basically look at this because of the action today. Obviously today's a Good Friday, not much action going on. In fact, the market's closed. But I'm looking at, like I said, I'm looking at multiple areas, multiple zones. Why is this doing this? I'm looking at multiple areas, multiple zones that is basically hit, right? And depending on the day, I'm either going to be bullish or bearish, right? So obviously this is a zone here as well. And for a trade like this, I would be looking to basically buy and have a push back to the upside, right? Why? Because we had this big wick, big body candle. I'm looking for it to basically push back to the upside. But then again, the thing is that we have another zone right here, right? This is another zone because it's held support here, then basically act as resistance. So if I'm buying this, right, I got to make sure I'm either going to pay myself or have my finger on the sell button as it reaches this zone, because there's a good chance it could push this zone and then basically push back down. See, trading is not about being right. It's about being rich. Too many guys are going to sit there and try to be like, oh no, you're wrong. It's going to keep going. It's going to break past the zone. It's going to push back all the way up here to the highs of 24,058. Don't know if it's going to do that. There's no guarantees. With trading, there's no guarantees. The only guarantee is, right, that you're either going to make money or lose money. And I'm focusing on making money based on chart performance and past history that is done and multiple areas of support, resistance, and my zones. Again, a lot of guys trade channels, right? This would be considered a channel right here to the downside, right? That would be considered a channel. And a lot of guys maybe bought this channel, or excuse me, they sold this channel, and then she immediately started to reverse. Okay, so again, the way I trade, right, in the way you should be trading, but it's entirely up to you, right? It's very simple. Forget about the channels. The channels they're the safe route, but where the real move is the up, the down, the up, the down, right? Those are where you're gonna get the best range, best moves, the fastest money, is the whole up and down action. But you're basing the up and down action, right, off of areas of support, resistance, and your zones. Once you basically combine all that together, I mean, it's off to the races. The sky's the limit. Truly, it is the limit. So there's an old saying, if you haven't heard it by now, it's called KISS. It means keep it simple, stupid, right? Don't like saying that word, especially the word stupid, because nobody's stupid in life. Everybody is smart, everybody's equal, and everybody can do this, right? If they just double down and focus and stick to it. Keep it very simple. Keep it very, don't overcomplicate. There's guys that, you go to their indicators and they've got every fucking indicator you could think about. Some are good, right? Some are good, but then some are just completely wasteless. So that's it for this video, guys, about support, resistance, my zones, where I look at day in and day out, and basically how you should be trading as a new trader. As always, subscribe to the channel, give this video a thumbs up, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.